Could be live. Logan's going to give us a sound check, make sure that things are working now that I'm on the third computer since I started this podcast. That's what I'm on. I'm on the third computer now.
we love changing computers all the time. Never, not once, and never.
Al. Anyways, it's all right. It's all right. Let's see. I'm kind of peeking here. Let's turn me down a little bit and have Logan double check it so I'm not too loud for everybody. All right, chat. I got some talking to do. First, I can't even tell y'all how much this podcast means to me and how much I have enjoyed it and how much it has truly helped me to be able to just let everything out and just grow, heal, and move on. So, that being said, before we go on, hey, IG, I'm going to read you something I posted to Facebook this morning, huh?
Okay.
So I came across this feed thing, and it says, the truest ride or dies are your kids. They're the ones who saw your whole world fall apart, helped you pick up the pieces, and never even realized they were doing it. That's the post I saw, okay? Mm-hmm. Now, here is what I wrote. Thank God for them, the ones who I felt guilty most for, unable to find myself, let alone the pieces of my soul which others obliterated. It was always the kids. Their love, their care, their ability to show compassion, checking on me to make sure I was okay, and loving me through my meltdowns and even their own fear. Not a responsibility of theirs, not anything I'd ever want them to deal with or handle, and yet, of all the humans I have ever known, the 4 kids stood by me. The 4 kids hugged me when I cried. The 4 kids pushed themselves to grow and be more capable only in hopes they could lessen the burdens I was carrying. The 4 kids let me process without taking it personally. The 4 kids let me grieve without ever talking about how it was affecting them. The 4 kids who each looked for ways to become more capable and reunited our family as the team we had always been. I put in so much work, often inspired by them, driven not to let them down. I am here today not because the adults in my life cared, showed compassion, or even tried to understand my struggles. I am here because the kids saw my fight and supported me. I am here because they told me they loved me even when I didn't feel lovable. I am here because when I was less capable, they united, carrying the burdens and responsibilities my broken heart and mind could not. The stress, grief, sadness, and pressure carrying for me put on them will not be forgotten. It is a silent strength inside of me to fight like hell to not only reclaim my self-worth, but improve it. I healed so I could reclaim my responsibilities of being the adult in their life. I got better, stronger, and fiercer, vowing to teach each of them now to love, protect, and fight for themselves the way they were so willing to do for me.
That's sweet.
So, anyways, that is what I wrote before I just walked into Alamo Draft House like a boss and was like, basically walked in and was like, so here's the deal. I want to put in an application on your website, but when I go to put in my work history, I'm just going to look like trash. So I wanted to drop my resume off and give it to you with my TABC certification and my recently acquired Texas food handlers and tell you that when the application now comes across your desk, because I will go home and fill it out as I'm supposed to, that you know who it came from. And so right now they claim they're not hiring. We'll see. I came home, I did exactly what I said, and I put in the application on top of it. I am applying, chat, for a dishwasher position. Because let me tell you something. I've been a stay-at-home mom now for 15 years, at least. I have very little work experience, very little. I almost had a meltdown yesterday over having to fucking list references because the references, let's just say the references I did have on my resume have expired, literally and figuratively. So, I decided that I was going to do something different and just walk in there and tell them why it would be such an amazing thing to hire me. And they may not be hiring right now, but the best time to look for a job is when you don't need one. And my argument was the best time to hire an employee is when you're not needing one. So we'll see. I'm not looking for anything. I just want to get out and I just want to do it. And I just want to prove to myself that I can still have the confidence that I used to have. And I did that at the very least today, even if nothing comes from the actual job. But here's what else I did. I had spruced up my resume. I walked in with my confidence and I know that I feel really good about it. And I overcame my fears, and I just keep doing what I need to do in order to be my best self. And, you know, in the end of the day, that's all we can do. I talk a lot in my podcasts about, you know, understanding what is in our human control. And here's what I can't control. I can't control any of the behaviors that affected me in the last couple of years. I can't control the fact that my reaction to trauma was, you know, everything it was. I could sit here and beat myself up for all the mistakes I've made, or I could kick myself in the ass and just be a better fucking person. And that's usually my style. The problem is during the deepest throes of trauma, and because of the obstacles in my place, and those obstacles being people, I was hindering myself from being the best version of myself. So I, like an onion, peeled away those layers, and anybody that did not, you know, contribute to my peace got booted out of my life, no matter who they were. I set new boundaries. I learned new things. I learned to understand my own behaviors, and I learned to understand the actions and behaviors of others in a different manner so that I wasn't taking it so personally. This is when you go through a complex trauma or CPTSD, when you are dealing with it's relationship trauma. And when you are dealing with that, let me tell you something. So often we think we need to be better. So often we think that we are the problem. So often we think that we need to change. But the truth is, the people who are meant for you will accept you for who you are. They will stand by you knowing who you are when you fall, instead of judging you for your failures and how you have fallen and how you have acted. They will offer forgiveness, to a point, because they have to protect themselves too. And no matter what you're going through, and IG has talked about this before in life, little temper tantrums and treating people poorly, it's just not acceptable. It doesn't excuse, no matter what is going on with them in their life, it does not give them a right to disrespect you or cause chaos, seek to create chaos in your life. But only you have control of who you let in your life and how you allow them to affect you. And if somebody is affecting you poorly, or something is affecting you poorly, you have to make the choices to be different, to make changes, and to do what you need to do in order to preserve your own mental health, which is what brings me to the next thing I'm about to say. You guys know that I try to keep my faith out of my podcasts, and I respect all different forms of beliefs. You guys know that I like to keep politics out of my podcasts because I just don't believe that this is the kind of podcast that it is a place for that. That being said, recent events have led me to this conclusion that focusing on screen time in any regard is probably not going to benefit me the most. And when I went through my greatest throes of healing, I disconnected myself. I was in Discord and I was playing video games. I wasn't completely offline, but I wasn't scrolling Facebook. I wasn't having to deal with TikTok. I wasn't having to, I'm banned from Twitter, so whatever that, X, whatever you want to call it. Here's the point though. Right now, there's just a lot out there that is going on in the world that is out of my control, that I get to have a choice on whether or not it affects my life. And focusing on sitting at this computer, knowing that time is so limited no matter who we are, and that we only get one life to live. This has been one of my struggles, because I love being a content creator. I love talking. Okay. But the amount of commitment and time that needs to go into the dedication, I'm not sure that I want to make the podcast my primary focus. I think I'd actually like to spend a lot more time at the beach. I think I'd like to spend a lot more time living life right now. But also, I've reached a point in my healing where it's time for me to spend less time talking and, rehashing, or, I've grown past a lot of what this podcast started. We only have 60 up. This is the 60th episode, by the way, Chad. This is episode number 60 of Gulf Coast Healing Podcast. In 60 podcasts, I have completely flipped my mindset and my life. And I want to be able to still do the podcast, but I'm not sure that I'll still have the same level of things worth talking about. It may not. So maybe we'll check in once a week. Maybe we'll check in once a month. Maybe we'll be silent for a long time. And that is because I've finally made it to a point in my growing and my healing that I've proven to myself that I can move forward now, which the real goal is Siren Stories. And even though I put Siren Stories on the back burner, it has been growing its own little, it's actually, I get followers all the time. I had even hidden the page for a while because it was not going to be a project I focused on. I'm ready. And I'm going to write it from start to finish, with book 1 being the first one, instead of doing the releases like I was talking about, because I am going to just write the story. Also, it's going to flip around. We're going to be putting out the actual novels and later adapt those novels to probably more of the comic book artistic format. Here's the deal. I can write almost as fast as I can talk, but doing graphic art, that's rough. And one of the reasons I wanted to do the graphic novel approach is just to get my story to an audience. Because I quit blogging years ago because people kind of lost their love for reading. But I can do audiobooks and I can do different things. So I think the writing of the story is probably the most important. So this may also change the overall Siren Stories roadmap layout. The books will be produced and written in a novel format with chapters pertaining to each segment of my life and my experience for that title. If you guys don't know what Siren Stories is or don't know what I'm talking about, you can check it out, siren-stories.com. So, and dash, I mean hyphen. It's the little one that's in the middle, not the bottom. You can Google it. You can Google Andromeda Siren. Go ahead and Google Andromeda Siren. That's some fun. You can find me. You can find me and you can see my progress. But here's the deal. One of the biggest reasons I also took a step back is because my brain was not in a healed manner where I felt like I was going to be able to truly write the story because of the most recent experiences in my life. It is very important to me that I give those experiences the respect they deserve, whether they were good or bad, what their influence was and how it shaped me to become what I believe has become such an incredibly strong, resilient survivor. And that is what they will focus on, telling the story and how I overcame my struggles and the different things I've done and how I've gotten to where I am today. And in the meantime, that means I also have to remain committed to ensuring that I continue to live as my best self. And, if anything brought it up to the surface more than anything, it's going in and looking at trying to put down references for a job and realizing I don't have any. I don't have friends I can really list. I don't have, and as far I've been out of work for so long, thankfully I caught that job in the village real quick. So I have a couple of professional references, but even the professional references in my life, they're so either gone, forgotten, or like so long ago, that I know that I am the kind of person that doesn't want to live that way either. And I think that the best way for me to re-enter any kind of social scene and begin using the skills I've learned to move forward in my life, building healthier relationship dynamics from every perspective, whether it be business, whether it be friends, whether it be intimate partners, whatever it might be, moving forward, my only goal is to ensure that I am building healthier relationships than I have chosen to in the past, because the people I have invested myself into the past, you guys have heard me talk a lot about subject A and what could be his issues be. What I have realized is it doesn't fucking matter. Here's the point. If I'm having to dig that deep, the issues are significant enough that I don't want them in my life no matter what. So probably best just to step away. Which I have been doing and I've been processing it, but it was so mind-blowing to me that I had to go through the steps. I had to do the healing. I had to do the work. I had to do all of that stuff. But now that I've done it, I realize that none of it really matters. All of my thoughts and trying to figure out why he behaved the way he did, or it doesn't matter. Because here's the deal. His behavior absolutely contradicted my worth. He treated me in a manner that I get to decide what kind of people I allow in my life, and his behavior is not something I would tolerate people treating me as. And he's not the only one. He's just the one I've talked about the most in this podcast. But there's a list, and those people will not gain access to my life again. because I get to choose where I go from here. And if I truly, truly want to grow and be better, sometimes that literally means wiping the slate clean. And the only people I will be taking with me from my past into my future are the ones who have already proven that they have stood by me through my absolute worst. Because I know how awful I was. I know how my behavior, I was spiraling. But the only ones that get to go forward as I improve and become even fucking more awesome than I was before are going to be the ones that were there to weather the storm with me. And other than that, it's time to build a new social circle. It's time to meet new people. It's time to do new things with my life, no matter how scared I might be. And that's why I know what I look like on paper. I know I'm 43 years old, and I know I just applied for a damn dishwashing position. Because when you really want life and you got to get your shit together, you don't turn around and sit in a hole and feel sad for yourself that you haven't fucking gotten what you want. You don't pick and choose. I'm not in a position where I get to pick and choose exactly what I want. Would I love to walk into Snoopy's Pier and be a bartender and a mixologist right off the fucking start? You're damn right. That would be a dream job. Would I love to do the same thing maybe over at Brewster's? Absolutely. Put me on the water anywhere. I don't even care if I'm picking up trash if I'm getting paid for it. I would love that, okay? But here's the deal. That might not be the way that it starts. Starting life over means starting life over. And that might mean that I need to go in at the lowest, possible position offered and just prove that I'm worth promoting within the company, which, by the way, never gone to work for a company that hasn't at least promoted me one position, if not more, above where I got hired on. So I know I can do it, but I have to be willing to do it. I have to be willing to wash dishes, or maybe pick up trash, or whatever it might be, in order to prove that I am capable and willing, reliable, and able to literally become an asset to whatever company should choose to hire me. And so I'm not going to sit there and go and hold out for, well, I really need X amount of dollars or X amount of hours. I'm fortunate enough right now where my life my financial life does not absolutely depend on it. But who knows where it'll be in the future? Who knows where we'll go from here? Who knows what could happen? And so why wait? Why wait until I need a $20 an hour job in order to survive? Why not take a $5 an hour job just so I get the experience and get myself back into the swing of being confident in the fact that I can even interact with people at all? Because the people in my life in the last 2 years have been so damn disappointing that I have been scared of humans. Literally fearful of interacting with anyone, literally fearful of ever allowing anybody to get close to me again, literally fearful of me being such a fuck up that I shouldn't burden other people with my lives. And that's a bunch of bullshit. Because I may have been fucked up, but I'm awesome. And I needed a hot second. I needed a hot second to pull myself out of the fucking pits of hell, essentially. And how I acted and the people who want to throw that in my face, go right ahead. You can judge me for anything I did in the last 2 years and it'll never touch me because it doesn't matter anymore because I survived it. And I may have been a shithead and I may have been an ass and I may have fucking, been damn near intolerable and I may have made life choices that I'm not proud of. But I'm in control of my life now. And moving forward, I get to choose what my life is. And that is what is literally the definition of taking your power back. You have the power to change your life, okay? You have the power to make your dreams come true. Can't is an illusion, okay? You might have to be willing to go be a 43-year-old dishwasher if you want to live by the beach and, stay single. That's the point. Can't. There's always a way. You have to want everything bad enough. You have to want it bad enough to face your fears. You have to conquer your own inner demons. You have to take care of yourself. You have to learn and grow in the ways that you can best. And you can't sit back. I mean, everybody deserves to have a minute. I like to call them little pity parties. I mean, take a minute, feel sorry for yourself, but make sure you go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and launch your ass out of that fucking mindset. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. Stop feeling so... It sounds so easy. It's not, chat. I'm not like, hey, flip that switch off and stop feeling that way. What I'm saying is, do what you have to do in order to get yourself to the position where you're feeling better about you. Whatever that meaning. Maybe as small as just making sure you get up and take a walk every morning. Or maybe it's as small as, set the goals tiny, work your way up from there. I mean, I didn't think any goal was achievable 2 years ago. I thought, this is it. This is it. And that's what led me to the darkest places that I was in, that made me question whether or not I wanted to keep going in life. Okay? The things that made me question that were, oh my God, this is so much work. This is so overwhelming. I don't even know what's going on. What do? Take it one day at a time and push yourself, love yourself, and do what you need to do for yourself. That is the number one thing. Everything will trickle down after that. Everything will get better after that. The amount of my stability, especially just even in the last 10 days, how much more my mental stability gets more and more solid with every minute, every hour, every day. The commitment to myself to be my best person, push myself. It was hard. Yesterday was rough. First of all, I wanted to go drop off this resume yesterday, and then life happened, and I could have been overwhelmed. Oh my God, this is why I try not to do anything, which, don't get me wrong, that shit crossed my mind, okay? But then I took a deep breath and said, it will all happen on its own schedule, because this is out of my control. I have to take care of this. All right, what can I do right now to keep working towards my goals? And I did. And so, sometimes it feels like things are standing in our way, but it's really just a detour. Don't forget the main goal, the main thing that you are trying to accomplish in life, and start small. Accomplish a little bit at a time. Build that confidence up. But also, you can't turn around and be very upset. Like, I can't sit here and talk about how I don't know how I'm going to interact with people again, how I'm so scarred from the relationships I've been in, how the people closest to me in my life have literally lodged knives in my back. So therefore, I'm going to hide myself in a hole, because that is what a lot of trauma abuse victims end up doing in this case. And I get it. And I've been in that hole for a while. All right. But let me tell you how good I feel after walking in and handing over my resume and interacting with people. You have to do a little bit at a time. It's the little things that we have to give that... We have to give that credit to ourselves for doing the little things. And with every little step that you prove to yourself that you can do something that was giving you anxiety or making you sad or making you feel like you just couldn't because it was so overwhelming, with every step that you take where you accomplish one of those things, it gets better. But you have to push through it. I was shaking applying for a dishwasher position. I have a TABC certification. I have a food handler certificate. I have experience in kitchen. Okay, I have hostess experience. I could argue and validate everything in the world. There's no reason why walking in and applying to wash. If there's anything being a stay-at-home mom for 15 years has taught me, it's how to fucking wash dishes. Okay, I'm telling you right now, should have been the no-brainer, whatever kind of situation. Yet I was shaking because interacting with people, going back out into society after how people have treated me and chosen, and the people that have been so close to me that have chosen to justify their behaviors towards me and not even understand that their behaviors cause reactions in me that I'm not proud of either, but there is absolutely zero accountability across the board. So that's okay though. I don't need them to be accountable. They can live their life however they want. I'm sorry for them that they're going to be those kind of people. I am not. I've taken accountability for my mistakes. I've recognized what things did I contribute to landing me in a position where my brain was that broken. And then I dug deep and I worked on those things. I got the help that I fucking needed. And I continually choose to face my fears. And every time I do, I get stronger. So it might not seem like much to anybody that I went to a Union Underground concert, but it was a huge thing for me. And it is the turning point of where my trauma healing truly took off. Okay? It may not seem like a huge thing to anybody that I walked in and put in a dishwasher application at a cinema. Okay? But it was a huge thing for me today, because this is signs and demonstration that every single day, my confidence is coming back. And you know what? I'm not sitting here worrying about whether or not I'm going to get hired. I'm not sitting here worrying about whether or not I'm going to get a call back. All I'm sitting here thinking is, if this one doesn't work out, where am I going to go next? Because I conquered this one little thing, and now I'm going to pick wherever else I might want to go, and I'm going to use the same process to do it. And I'm going to go in, and I'm going to say the same things. Maybe change it up a little bit because I have creative flair. But the point is, I'm not going to stop. Just like I'm not going to stop in my dedication to become the best version of myself that I can become. I'm not going to stop in my dedication to achieve my goals. And neither should anybody else. But what that means is I need to focus. And what I need to focus on right now, I think, is how I am definitely, and as much as I love the podcast and it has been benefiting me, this isn't a place that's going to help me financially. This has been a place that helps me immensely mentally. But for right now, that level of things, I'm going to be real. I might have outgrown it. I may no longer give a fuck. Here's what I'm going to tell you. I don't care if somebody's a narcissist, an avoidant, or just a fuck, okay? Don't let people treat you like shit. Anybody that makes you feel worse about yourself, you don't need that kind of bullshit in your life. Anybody that does not see your worth, value who you are, they don't need to be a part of your universe. Because somewhere out there, there's going to be somebody that appreciates who you are, that quirks and all, flaws and all, they don't turn around and throw them in your face, and they don't use them as daggers, and they don't take the trust that you afford them and stab you in the back. There are people out there that won't do that. So stop letting the ones who do have a place at your table. Evict that shit. They don't deserve it. And when you start to finally cut away the negativity in your life, you're going to notice it's still hard, but it's a hell of a lot easier to be positive for yourself. And that's the only thing that truly matters. You got to be able to pick yourself up, because don't ever count on anybody else to do it. You got to be able to get yourself well, because don't expect anybody to save you. And the fact that I have come so far in this journey makes me realize that's why the podcast hasn't happened so much this week, because I have realized I might be sometimes coming onto the podcast to, yes, talk things out in a talk therapy kind of method. But the idea about therapy is you need it. You don't need it as frequently. You might need, sometimes when you go in and you're really struggling, they're going to be like, I need to see you twice a week, or I need to see you every other week, or I need to see you, then it's once a month. And maybe you get to a point where they only need to see you once every 3 months. I think I've gotten to a point where talking on this podcast, I want to share my healing journey as I keep doing it. I'll keep you guys posted about, when I get a job or what I'm doing, but it might end up being more like, hey, here's our weekly recap, and a lot less going live just when I feel like talking, because I actually surprisingly think I have worked through so much that I don't have as much to say. So that's kind of how I work. Live and let go. And let God, for me. And I have. I'm not going to research or search for ways to go live on this podcast. I'm going to still use it the way that I always have and go live when I feel the need to say something. And what I feel the need to say right now is life is so short. And if anything in these last few weeks has taught me anything with all of the craziness in our world, it is live life while you've got it. And appreciate those that you have around you or those that you care about, and spend your time with them. I don't want to focus on making sure that I have topics to go live for on a podcast. I want to be at the beach with my kids in between my job and my career. But I don't want to just completely give up on Gulf Coast Healing either, because it's been a huge springboard in my recovery journey. And I want to keep everybody up to date on where it's at now, because the final chapter of Siren Stories is basically ready to be written. Gulf Coast Healing will become the aftermath of the stories in the series. What I've done with my life since then. Just regular old shooting the shit, living, loving, grieving, and healing on the Gulf Coast. And that's what it'll be. Something cool happens, like a crab on my fucking side of my fucking house. You bet your ass I'm coming over here to Twitch to tell you all about it. I have a struggle that I feel like I've overcome. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to share it with y'all, and I'm going to tell you what I did to do it. But it will not be a priority in my life to go live. And it will not be something I think I feel the need to do as frequently as I did in the beginning. At first, I could barely keep myself from going live. Just like I wanted to, sometimes twice a day. I don't feel that way anymore. And it's because of the viewers over here on Twitch primarily, who to go and rewatch the streams, and that just make me feel a little bit less alone and given me a lot of the confidence to just keep going on and also not give up on my podcast. But if I gotta live life enough now in this new mindset, or I'm really don't have a whole lot to share about how you continue it, do I? I mean, now that I've made it to this point where I have this mentality and this is my feeling, now it's all about implementing everything I've worked so hard to learn. And I need to be able to share that. But I just can't tell you a sure schedule or make a commitment, because I am fairly certain for at least a few weeks right now, possibly the next month about, I am probably going to unplug. I am gonna stay away from social media, and I'm going to stay away from Twitch, and I'm going to spend more time walking out in the sunshine, and I'm going to look at other places to put more resumes in at, and I'm going to remember that I moved and I fought my way down here to live this as my life dream, and I don't want to lose sight of that. And Siren Stories is where it's at. That's my life dream. I've wanted to be a writer since I was 8 years old. I've always been told I'm gifted in this area. It needs to happen. I need to do my life dreams. And the podcast has allowed me to get enough out and heal enough in a manner where I think I can go back to the beginning and I can write about it without being overly emotionally afflicted or have anger in my, because the biggest thing was, especially with Subject A, the anger that I was feeling. It's a twisted story, but it's not all ugly. And there was no way I was going to write that fucking chapter or any of the chapters that came before that involving Subject A without a disgusted taste in my mouth. But that's gone now too. So it doesn't faze me. And I've already put it to the test a few times writing. And I'm so much more myself. And I'm so much happier and healthier. And I'm so much better now. That it's time to go to the next tier. Level up. That's what we do. Level up. Although at this point, nobody understands Save the World, but I definitely am feeling like I need personality superchargers from completing venture quests, which are another way of saying go all the way back to the beginning and start all over at the bottom. Yep, that's what we're doing. So I appreciate all of you so much. Give me a follow if you want to be able to catch us when we go live, because it's not going to be as often. And this particular podcast will be going up onto YouTube. YouTube doesn't have as much love for the podcast, but I still have love for YouTube. And don't worry, YouTube. It's going to be okay, because part of me living life will absolutely mean that I just have to get out more with my dog and my Jeep. And that's what YouTube loves. So that's great news. I've been working on real life stuff, getting things in order and doing what I need to do in order to take the best care of myself. And I don't know. I feel like we are on the home stretch now in this regard. I'm not worried anymore. I don't believe that people have the ability to affect my mentality like they used to, giving me a sense of self-control that allows me to preserve my self-worth. I don't really care what anybody thinks about me. I don't care what they say about me. I'm going to be me no matter what. I have finally made it to this point in healing. And so it's important that since I have, that I take the next step, because that's the whole point. The whole point in trying to heal from this stuff is you should outgrow what first, at any given time, you should outgrow what initially helped you. Initially, trauma dumping was huge for me. Then researching and learning about what I maybe encountered, huge for me. But once it's accomplished, the real healing continues by us not staying stuck in anything we may know or have learned, or not staying focused on it, unless that's what it becomes our passion. Some people deal with this stuff and their passion becomes they just want to warn the whole rest of the world about these people existing. Well, when I was an autism advocate I realized the world is a huge place. And I am not sure that focusing on trying to change all of that is a good approach for me, which is why I started looking at, trying to help people individually. But what I do know is that as much as I may be capable of putting together, really useful information for people that are struggling in these areas, and the memberships will still be going, because I'm going to be using memberships So we may not be live as much, but if you get a membership, I'll go live and I'll announce that. But memberships are going to have rough drafts of Siren Stories. There's going to be a tier that's just that. People will be able to literally receive the content that they want. But it'll be not on such a scheduled format where with Twitch, I can create maybe 6 videos on different things or, produce different levels of writing and put them all up in memberships. Well, I can sit there and do that in one day when it's raining, where Twitch is more of a constant, consistent check-in, having a dedication. And on Twitch, really, the longer you can be dedicated to being live on Twitch, the better off you're going to be. So I just don't know that I really have the ambition to dedicate myself to the amount of hours it would take to make this podcast actually come to a certain level of fruition. I don't want to give up on it, but IG, are you talking?
No.
Okay, because your character is going off, so it's picking up something, and I can't hear it through.
I'm just bouncing around, just dancing over here.
Anyways,
I was typing.
Oh,
so maybe it was reacting to me hitting my keyboard. And it was like, making my little guy dance around.
Your little guy takes notes.
My little guy is taking notes. I'm
why?
The whole stream. Please save me. Please save me. My wrist
all work and no play makes IG a dull kid. You're a young adult now. No, you know why? You know why I set this podcast up like this, though, right? Because you should always be listening to me and taking notes.
Okay, I don't even know why I come around here anymore. It doesn't make any sense. I don't get it. I don't get it. Oh my god.
Are you excited about life, IG?
I am excited about life. I was just actually writing about the Demon Slayer Infinity Castle intro for the video that I should probably get working on today. I'm trying to get everything in order. I also finished my Sonic Crossworld video, so I'm making the thumbnail for that, or at least getting my assets in a row, because I can't do the thumbnail until I take my thumbnail picture. So, just getting things ready and set up. And
right on. Well, thank you for
a lot of One Piece to watch.
Thank you for taking part in my podcast and being here. You listen to me in real life. You listen to me virtually. Bet you're sick of listening to me, actually.
Oh, you wouldn't know. You wouldn't know. No.
All right, so chat, wish me some luck. Let's see. I put in all that. I did it anyway, even though they're like, oh, we're not really hiring right now. I was like, well, I'm going to go home and I'm going to put in that application. But the application did not leave me places to explain myself very much. So I was like, please see resume. It was like employment history 1. Put it in. Employment history 2. Please see resume. So, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a good day. It's been a good day. It's been a good month.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah. I'm really excited about what gets to come forward, or going forward, where we're going to be, everything. Life finds a way. And I think we found it. And by the way, may I just say, I look amazing today. What?
Yeah. Guess what?
What?
Little Nightmares 3 is coming.
Little Nightmares 3? Yeah, I saw that. I purposely did not send you the full list of the Nintendo Switch Direct, games that are, because I don't want to hear what you need me to buy you. Let me get the job first.
Lol.
IG gets paid for he's going to be the sole caretaker. So I'll support him since he's the one that's going to take care of my middle son now. Because, that should not be free.
Well, yeah, middle son, youngest child, because, even though they can take care of themselves, this house without direction falls apart very quickly. The whole household. If it's not you or I giving some kind of direction, everything would just fall apart, within seconds.
I'm glad that I got to rejoin the ranks where we're doing it together in a way, because you had to take over and then you were the only one giving direction. And I understand that level of chaos too, because, before you started doing that, because I was batshit great. Well, my brain was broken. But before you started doing that, and then you got to do it, and then you got to see what it was like to have a glimpse of what it was like to be me. Because I think that's the most meaningful thing you ever said to me after I got out of the psych ward is, I knew you did a lot, but I didn't realize what that meant. And now though, so you got slapped into it, and you had to try to manage all that, and it's been hard and stressful, and there's a few things I think you could definitely work on. You're gonna have to get rid of your anxiety over money, which is really hard to do. But yeah, now that I finally have rejoined my I guess, how do I want to put it? My most, I guess, optimal ability of just function, just functioning. Now that we're back to that, it is really nice that the things that you've learned while I have been less mentally sound is proving to be a huge help when I just need a little bit scooped off my plate, even so that I don't feel like I'm carrying so much. And honestly, we make a great team. Our family, all of us make a great team. And as long as we keep that up, well, some days neither one of us feel like directing anybody, but that's when we usually tell the kids just to leave us alone and do whatever they want, within reason.
Yeah, they get free days.
Yeah, they get free days.
Sometimes.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we should get Domino's tonight. Sorry, I'm hungry.
Okay. Okay.
I'm just interjecting food now.
Okay. All right. The drive out to Alamo Draft House is beautiful, but I will tell you this.
I like that drive, except for that fucking Yorktown Road.
Yeah, I was just going to say, and Yorktown Road is not...
I like that one.
Hold up. It's even worse when we're traveling with a quarter tank or less of gas.
Oh, God. Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, we went out there on almost a full tank, remember? It wasn't that bad, right? But you should have felt like, I feel like I'm literally like a tin can in the back of a truck bouncing around.
Crazy. Yorktown sucks.
Yeah.
Dude, they need to pay that road next.
Yeah.
Although that countryside is very nice. I like that. I like that backside and everything.
I know. Yeah, it's beautiful. And it's a beautiful sunny day, and there's clouds in the sky that are just all white and puffy, and the sun is shining through them all. It literally looks like, oh God, we didn't even tell you this. We were so upset. I didn't bring my phone. But yesterday, because every single time I was feeling overwhelmed or struggling with, knowing what I was going to be doing today and what the game plan was and how I wanted to handle things, getting through my, fixing my resume, doing all the stuff that I needed to do. I took 4 rides in Daisy yesterday, I think, to just literally just anything to get me out of the house. Because that's the other thing I realized, chat, is that to do the podcast and to work on the way the podcast, it just keeps me in the house more. And I don't want that. I don't care what I'm doing. I want to be outside. I spent too many years cooped up. I just don't want to be inside anymore if I can help it. So anyhow, Gunner laid down across Parker's lap, and they both rode like that the whole drive. And I didn't have a camera to take a picture. It was, I looked at Logan, and Logan was like, we don't have any phone. Look at them. And I was like, this is when you turn around and you realize, yep, we didn't bring our phones. We didn't do any of that. So this gets to be something that now etch it into your memory. Take this moment and realize that it's yours to keep forever, because nobody else will ever see it. And sometimes I think we need to put the phone down more and do exactly that.
Oh, I totally agree. I have a really hard time with recording the outside world, because in my mind, I sit so much at the computer. When I go outside, I want to enjoy it, not through the lens of a screen, right? At all. Even taking a picture, or capturing something on a camera, you still have to look at a fucking screen to enjoy something. And where we live, it's just so beautiful that when I get out of the house, I just like to look outside and just get to see our world for what is truly our world.
I think it's interesting that when I chose to leave my career and I became stay-at-home mom, and I had to learn lots of different things, and then, getting just into the technology and the evolution of it, because I was blogging when Facebook was barely Facebook, but then understanding the up-and-coming things with not just video games, but YouTube, social media, marketing, all of those different things. It is crazy to me to go anywhere and just watch the amount of digital screens that pop out at, tables when you're having a meal, or, the beach when you're in front of the ocean. I mean, don't get me wrong, taking the pictures and the videos, I get all of that, but it's the other side of it. The, quick posting it, and, the look at what I'm doing instead of living in the moment and doing it, So
Yeah,
I
no,
always try
that's
when we go to the beach and I'm going to do shorts or I'm going to take any videos, I try to get them all out of the way, and then I sit there for the next couple hours just chilling. And there is a likelihood that this afternoon I am going to, hey, can I have another one of these? Thank you. There's a chance that this
no.
afternoon I am going to probably go to the beach and just sit and look around and make sure that I just take a moment. The beach has actually been really dead since Labor Day. So I am going to, thank you. I'm going to probably take a minute to remember that, just go sit in the sand and remember exactly why I fought like hell to get here. Because some days already, we've been here for 6 months, and some days, there's not a time I go out in the Jeep and I drive and I don't look around and be like, damn, I love where we live. That doesn't happen. I'm never in a state of mind where I'm not paying attention to that. But the hurry and the bustle of everything else that's going on might be robbing me from enjoying some of the more quieter moments where I'm actually truly, truly sitting still. And that's something I want to change, So, because we got down here and I went to the beach like every day I got a chance, and then we experienced 4th of July, and now I'm going like once a month. I think I need more than that. I think beach therapy is a real thing too.
That is true.
And I would like to petition my insurance to fucking pay for that shit. Fun to my life. No, I'm just kidding. But for real. Kind of. Sort of. Yeah. It's what
Not
I
really,
need.
but yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
So.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
So anyways, guys. All right, y'all. I want you guys to take really good care of yourself. Give me a follow so you don't miss me when I decide to go live again. I have no idea. No way of knowing. All I can tell you is it's going to be a lot less content production and a lot more of actual living life. And that's what I love about my shorts over on YouTube. They're 30 seconds to 1 minute of just me doing life. And then I move on, and they don't require any editing, any work, and I don't even have to be at the house to do them. So I probably will continue producing that kind of content because I enjoy it. But I'm going to definitely be moving away from the things that keep me tied to a desk and tied to a screen, which means things like this podcast. So, till we talk to you guys again, be safe and take really good care of yourselves, and know that whatever you're struggling with today, tomorrow is a new day. Sometimes people want to look at it and they feel like failures because they haven't accomplished something. Okay? If I would have given up in the last 3 days about what my goals were, never would have made it out and even tried to apply for a job today. Because things kept popping up and causing disruptions in my life that were prohibiting me from being capable of doing exactly what I had planned or wanted to do. And it can be really, really defeating when you encounter that. But it's up to you whether or not you let it. You can take a deep breath and say, okay, I did this today. This hasn't worked out. So tomorrow I'm going to try again. And come up with a new plan if today's plan didn't work out. And accept that things are out of your control and not everything is going to go exactly as you will feel comfortable having it go. Be uncomfortable. Push yourself. Do what you need to do. Fuck fear. Don't let that shit negate your life. And go out and make your life the life you deserve. Take care of yourselves, chat.